Before I begin, I want to thank all the frontline healthcare workers, the nurses, doctors, and all staff. Those working around the clock to keep our communities safe. You are the real heroes. I'm here today with my Minister of Health, Christine Elliott, Finance Minister Rod Phillips, and Minister of Labour, Training and Skills Development, Monty McNaughton, and our Chief Medical Officer of Health, Dr. David Williams. The situation, my friends, we're facing has changed quickly, and we're adapting with it. Today, my Minister of Finance will provide an update on how our government will approach the province's finances, given the devastating global economic impacts of COVID-19. The approach he outlines will build on the important announcement we're making here today. My friends, these are unprecedented times, but in difficult times like these, we learn a lot. We learn a lot about who we are as a people. We learn a lot about what Ontario is made of. And during these difficult days, it's been amazing to see communities come together. People out there looking out for each other, having each other's backs, looking out for their neighbours and family members, looking out for those who are vulnerable. And the reality is we're facing some rough waters ahead. But we will get through this together. We've been taking decisive action based on the advice of Dr. Williams, Ontario's Chief Medical Officer. And let me be clear, the health and safety of the people of Ontario is our top priority. We're prepared to do whatever it takes. And we are taking every step possible to slow the spread of this virus, and we need our partners to do the same. I am very concerned about reports we've been hearing at the border. We need the federal government to tighten up the border, ensure that proper screening and protocols are being enforced, and be prepared to take even greater steps to protect the health and safety of all Canadians. Here in Ontario, we're closing all schools until April the 6th. We've set aside $100 million in contingency funding for COVID-19, in addition to $200 million from the federal government. On my direction, we have a $10 million public awareness campaign. Ads will run on TV, radio, and cultural media, and online. Because keeping the public informed is one of the most important things we can do right now. We're also providing additional resources for public health units and hospitals, such as enhanced access to screening, expanded lab testing capacity, and new measures to keep frontline workers safe. We've opened 17 dedicated testing centres to take pressure off our hospitals. And yesterday, we released a new online self-assessment tool. You can find this at ontario.ca/coronavirus. This is an excellent resource, and we encourage the public to use it from home. Before visiting a COVID-19 testing centre, please, I say please, use this tool to determine if you need to seek care. And please don't visit an assessment centre unless you're showing symptoms. Keeping our seniors safe right now is one of our top priorities. And that's why we've told long-term care homes to limit non-essential visitors and step up screening procedures at the door. This situation is changing rapidly, but I want the people of Ontario to know that your government has your back. We're looking out for Ontario workers and families during this difficult time. We need to support the workers affected by this. A lot of people can work from home, but we need to protect the people working the line or doing shift work who don't have that luxury. And the last thing we want right now is for people to worry about job security. That's why I've asked our team to start drafting legislation to protect workers and families. If this law is passed, it will ensure that if you are in quarantine because you're experiencing symptoms or you've been asked to self-isolate, you will not lose your job. If you're a parent and you need to stay home to look after the kids while schools are closed, you will not lose your job. And we're going to remove the requirement for a doctor's note if you are in isolation at home due to COVID-19 symptoms. I want to thank the business community who have already taken steps to keep their employees and customers safe. And as Minister Elliott and I said over the weekend, we need to have each other's back right now. Check in on seniors and those most vulnerable. Make sure they're okay. And I will say this again, there's no need, I emphasize this, there's no need to rush out to stores and to panic buy and hoard essential items that we will need. I've personally spoken to the vast majority of major retailers in Ontario, and they've assured me that our supply chain is currently able to handle the additional pressure. When I spoke to these retailers, the first thing I said was, what can the province do for you? By the end of the conversation, many of them were offering services within their organizations to help with capacity and additional resources for the people of Ontario. Everyone in Ontario has a part to play. And I want to thank the business community for their leadership at a time when it matters most. There's plenty of food and household essentials to go around. Be prepared, but let's make sure there's enough for everyone. As Canadians, we need to continue looking out for each other. And that's exactly what we're doing with today's announcement.